Oh my goodness. I feel like we both need to come up here because we all love this woman so much. Oh my gosh.
Oh, thank you.
The amount of love she gives is incredible, but the amount of love she gives
You're going to make me cry.
is like the best thing ever. And we are so fortunate to have you and your artwork and your presence and everything. Love you very much. You know that.
Well, thank
you
you
all for being here, by the way.
Thank you. Well, I want to recognize these two beautiful souls who have nurtured and helped so many artists, and you give us complete creative freedom, and which is rare and nice. And
You're here.
for me, I've always said it's the process, not the product. And when the process started, when I said yes to this show, and so I don't know about anybody else, but before I can do a show, I have to go in and completely clean up my studio. I think it's procrastination more than anything, but I completely clean it up, get everything tidy, and then you wait for Michael's buy two, get two free canvases. And so then you have all these canvases staring at you intimidatingly saying, all right, lady, click, click, time's ticking. And I tried so many different things, and nothing was working. And I was like, what is going on? And I took this canvas right here was the first one I did, because I wanted to do the 40 by 40s first and get them out of the way. And I just got so disappointed that I just took the canvas with a pencil and I wrote all over it like peace, breathe, closure, trust, strength. I just and I've had some challenges and have some challenges in my life, so the word peace stood out. So I thought, okay, this show is going to be about peace. And so I thought about the colors that would accompany that. And so I started with the whites and the warm grays and cool grays, and then I have a whole box of papers, Japanese papers and things, and so I started putting those on there. And in the top left-hand corner was a piece that had little gold and silver sparkles in it. And I put it on, and it wrinkled up, and I was upset. And then I went, well, wait a minute, okay, because little gifts or little accidents turn into gifts. And it was a gift. And all along I knew I had something in my head, and I just couldn't get it out. And so I started connecting the work to emotions, to all those emotions that I wrote on the canvas. And peace is written under every painting. And so finding peace is kind of a funny thing. Like, it's under there, you can't find it, but I was finding peace. So I normally paint to music. I'm kind of known for that, especially Zydeco music, because I'm kind of a Cajun. But I painted in complete solitude and quiet. And I got, like many of us artists, pretty much got lost in the work and just started to allow the painting to lead me where I wanted to be and be and once I started to achieve pretty much the direction I wanted to go, um, I stopped thinking and let it work. And the series, since it's stuff I've never done before, it was interesting to me to watch the series develop as I went along, and new things and new accidents and happy things happened. So that was kind of an interesting journey, watching it develop in front of my eyes. And a lot of people ask me how I name my paintings, and they name themselves. It's really weird. I'll just look at them, and then all of a sudden, the name that will come to me, like it knows what it wants to be called. As far as influences, I lived in Houston, and I visited the Rothko Chapel many times on different days, and the lighting, if it was a sunny day or a cloudy day or whatever, the paintings changed, and it was really something to watch them change and see them on different days. And one of my other influences was Cy Twombly, whose museum is right across the street. And there's one, he did a lot of line work, because he said the the line was the personal connection, and he wanted his paintings to be emotional and have an atmospheric quality about them. And as you go in, there's one painting that covers the whole wall. I don't know, has anybody been to the Twombly? Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. They designed the building, the walls are all unfinished concrete. And the ceilings, because the Texas sun is so harsh, they have these fabric, almost like louvers, that deflect the light and diffuse it around on all the paintings. And it's called liquid light, is what they call it. So my goal for the viewer is to hopefully find a personal connection to the paintings in some way that helps them with what they're going through, or it touches them in a certain way. I mean, that's my intent, is to have people connect with the paintings. I mean, the painted back in the studio, since I paint in acrylic, sometimes you have to paint fast, and then sometimes you have to let it dry because you're going to have layers. But I tell people, if you walk in my studio, you're going to get paint on you, because I have paint everywhere, as opposed to some of you oil painters, and they wear cute little aprons, and some even have like oriental carpets on their floor. Can you imagine? I mean, and they're all so neat, Miriam. So neat and tidy, and all their brushes are clean. They don't have paint on the handles. So, and I just kept picking up different things when I was doing the paintings, and I had a box of gold and silver foil, so I thought, well, I'll put that in there, because Marjorie, who has been to Egypt and knows about the spiritual meanings of gold and silver. And my studio faces east, so in the mornings I'll have my green tea or coffee and sit and let all of that beautiful golden light just all over me, and it's very healing. You go in, and it's a chapel, and it's very quiet, and I think they had one bench, but there was a lot of little round cushions on the floor where people would sit and meditate or pray, and it was a really spiritual experience to go in there. And I was just so fortunate to be in Houston and be able to go on different days and experience the work, because it looked so different. I mean, on a sunny day, there were colors in there that you didn't even realize were in there. I intend to do more exploration in the technique. Another thing I wanted was, as I developed, I wanted the surfaces to be very tactile. And the four little ones were the last ones I did. And I used a water-based polyurethane by Minwax that I took several coats, but they're very tactile. I mean, at the opening, I had people touch them because I thought that was another aspect of the work, that it was tactile. You know, there's a saying that when you paint, all your professors and artist friends, everybody's in the room, and then eventually they all leave. Well, then eventually the professor comes back. And so I knew that I needed what Nick at Art to Life calls quiet conversations and loud conversations. So I put those in because they needed something to pull your eye around the painting. You want the viewer to be able to move from one place to another and pull them all the way around the painting. And that one right there, called Bloom, that was another happy accident. I was painting quickly, and I dropped a big glob of white paint on the painting and went to brush it off, and I thought, that's a flower. So I left it. And, you know, and dropping globs of painting happens a lot in my studio. And then, of course, you step in it and track it all around. I have cardboard on the floor, but there's places where there's not, and I eventually track it on there. But, oh, that was when I was painting, when all the people are in the room, and you feel like you're being judged, and you want to, you're thinking back about all the rules and regulations and things that you learn in college. But the morning thing is, for me, it's to absorb that golden light. So, yeah. I came out of the womb painting. Yeah, I come from a long line of artists in my family. My grandmother was a china painter, and my mother was an artist. I got started late because I tried so many things, and I had to work on like 3 or 4 at a time. You know how that is. So it took me about 7 months, maybe, with counting the ones that didn't work. Yeah, so many things in my head that I want to do that I can't stop. Thank you. I love all of you too. Oh, thank you so much. Anyway, I want to thank you all for listening and coming and letting me talk about something that is so personal to me. I mean, they're very personal paintings. A lot of people think they might be political, but if they want to think that, that's okay. But for me, it's a very personal journey. So. Thank you, thank you.